Hi there, how are you doing? Another Supple Strength video for you here. I've got a nice stretchy one for you this time. There's quite a lot of yoga. It's about 50-50 yoga and Pilates mixed in this class. It's level down at a level 1 up to intermediate. There's some low level moves in there, but there's also some challenging harder ones for those that want to. For this video you're going to need a plump cushion because we'll be doing chest opener at the end, and you'll need a cushion to rest your head on. You'll also need a ball. These balls can be purchased from Amazon. There is a link on my website, fit-n-active.co.uk, but it's basically a Yoga Mad soft exercise ball, red 9-inch. They cost around about £7. That's what you'll need for this program, and some dumbbells. For those with shoulder and neck problems, more of a beginner, 0.5. For the stronger ones, nothing more than 1.5. Okay, so they're all the essentials. Let's get started. So let's roll the shoulders a couple of times, backwards and forwards. We'll turn the head from side to side. That's it. Planting those feet on the floor, we're going to take a big breath in. So bend those knees, sweep up. As you breathe out, twist to the right. Wrap your hands around your hips. Keep the feet still though. Look over your shoulder, twist through the neck gently. And back to the front, we'll do the same to the other side. Big breath in. And twist. Okay then, so let's set the body up. First of all, we're going to find our hip distance apart. If you want to bring your feet close together first, take the heels out, bring the toes in line. That'll give you your hip distance apart, and that's really quite important. Remember, we're trying to retrain that brain. Your pelvis is in neutral. Remember the bucket analogy where you tilt your pelvis backwards and forwards, spilling the water back and forth. Settle in the center, and that should bring your pubic bone and your hip bones level. You should have an arrow pointing downwards with your skeleton. Core muscles switched on. Keep the rib cage down, of course, shoulders drawn back, nice and long through the back of the neck. Let's get a little balance first of all. Shift your weight around a little bit. Allow your toes to grip the floor, just to wake the brain up. And then settle with your weight spreading evenly in the middle. And then remember the core muscles, switch those tummy muscles on, that sensation where you're doing up a freshly washed pair of jeans and you have to draw in a little bit more because they're a bit tighter. So have that tension in the core muscles, and of course you can lift up with the pelvic floor. Let's go through the breathing. Breathing in through the nose, take the air into the chest, remember. As you breathe out through the mouth, let that chest deflate down. Close the eyes if you're happy to do so. Feel the chest expand and deflate with each breath. Just take a moment to calm the mind, make that connection between brain and body. Remember to keep the core muscles switched on throughout the class and keep breathing into the chest. Open the eyes then and wiggle the shoulders. Okay, so we're going to go into a few squats to warm up our knees. Take your feet just slightly wider than that hip distance for me. Core muscles in. Let's go through basic squats first of all. You sit your bottom back. So as you go back, tap your toes, and that confirms that all of your weight is in the heels, and you sit your bottom back. Push into the heels to stand yourself tall. And again, sit that bottom back. And coming back up. Okay, fairly easy. Let's take it up a notch. To challenge your balance, come up onto the tiptoes, just onto the balls of the feet. Now bend your knees and sit your bottom back. Your weight's going backwards still. See how those knees haven't really come too far forwards? And you can put the heels down to stand tall if you want to, or you can keep those heels up depending on your level. So use the arms as much as you need to for balance. If you want to make it more difficult, take the hands in front. But you're on the balls of the feet, core muscles in. Try and squat. It is quite challenging, as you can see, so if you want to just do half of it, put the heels down to go back down, then do so. Or you can go down, lift the heels up and then stand tall. Either which way you like. But do allow those heels to go to the floor each time you come back up. Just give those calves, and knees a little rest. A couple more then. Tummy in, stare the eyes, keep the back nice and straight. I'm going to do one more. The idea is just for your brain to get a sense of balance, as well as warming those legs up a little bit. Okay, so I want you to take yourself down towards the back of your mat. We're going to do a couple of roll downs and then we'll float into a kneeling sun salutation. So heels under the hips again, core muscles are switched on. Breathe in at the top. As you exhale, drop the chin to the chest, drop the arms and shoulders forward, slowly fall yourself over. Tummy tucked in, fingers falling to the floor. Remember to soften the knees if they get too tight. And stretch through that spine. Let's restack, nice and smooth and slow. One vertebrae at a time. Keeping the tummy scooped, the arms relaxed. Shoulders melt, head up last. Breathe in at the top. Exhale, chin to chest, drop the arms and shoulders. Same again. Keep the tummy scooped, relax the arms forwards. In your mind's eye, see the spine stretching out, the space in between each vertebrae. As you fold over, bend the knees if you want to. And restack. Imagine the tummy muscles pushing the spine up from inside the body. There we go. One more time, but this time we'll stay down towards the floor. Tummy in, relax the arms. And I'd like you to bring yourself down onto your knees, and that will start us off for the kneeling sun salutation. If you're able to sit back onto your heels, then do so. If that's not suitable for you, then you can always come back to the taller position each time. We're going to start with our hands in prayer. I'm just going to make sure I'm at the back of the mat here. Tummy muscles switched on throughout the whole process. Try and bend and flex that back as much as you can. So breathe in. As you breathe out, stretch tall up for the sky. Stay here to breathe in. As you breathe out, take the hands a long way forward and drop the chest down towards the floor. So you're arching your back and stretching underneath the arms. As you breathe in, come to a cat stretch. So bring the arms back a fraction. Tuck the bottom and chin under, lengthen through the spine. And also turn the toes under. As you next exhale, lift the knees up off the floor, gently press back into your downward facing dog. So those calves might be a little on the cold side. So we'll spend a couple of breaths here trying to tease a bit more warmth and length down the back of those legs. Remember to spread the shoulders wide, neck is in line with the spine, tummy muscles switched on all the way through. Okay, we're going to take those knees back down to the floor. Breathe in and cat stretch. Tuck the bottom and chin under. Lengthen through the spine. As you breathe out, hands go forward. Drop the chest back into that extended child's pose. And then breathe in to bring the arms all the way back. Kneeling up, lift the arms. Breathe out to settle back down. We're going to do that 3 more times through to warm the body up. Breathe in here. Breathe out, stretch tall. Stay here to breathe in. Breathe out, take those hands a long way forward. Drop the chest to the floor. Cat stretches next. Breathe in as you bring the hands back. Curl the toes under. As you exhale, knees up off the floor. Settle into downward dog for a few moments. Walking those heels up and down if you want. Spread the shoulders wide and breathe. Back to cat stretch as you breathe in. Extended child's pose as you breathe out. Hands go forward, drop your chest down, stick your bottom out. And then breathe in to walk the hands all the way back up for the ceiling. Breathe out, settle back down. Hands in prayer. Breathe in. Breathe out, stretch tall. Stay here, breathe in. Breathe out, hands forward, drop the chest, stick your bottom out. Cat stretch, breathe in. Curl the toes under, breathe out, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Still lengthening, still warming up. Keep those shoulders wide. Tummy in. Knees down, cat stretch, breathe in. Breathe out, extended child's pose. Hands go forward, drop the chest, stick your bottom out. Breathe in, walk the hands back, all the way up for the ceiling. Breathe out, settle back down. Last time through then. Breathe in. Breathe out, stretch tall. Breathe in here. Breathe out, hands forward, drop the chest. Cat stretch, breathe in. Curl the toes under, breathe out, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths. Spread the shoulders wide. Keep breathing. Next in breath is cat stretch, melt the knees down to the floor. Lift them back up for the ceiling. Breathe out, hands forwards, extended child's pose. Breathe in to walk the hands all the way back, lift up for the ceiling. And breathe out to settle back down. So hopefully you feel a little bit warmed up, a little bit more flexible. We're going to go into a little yoga sequence now, starting with crescent moon. So I'd like you to bring your right foot forwards a long way, as long as you dare. Sink your hips forward so that you open out through that left hip. Don't take it too strongly to start with. You can keep your hands on the floor or hands on the thighs. Those who are more flexible, more confident, fingers and eyes up to the skies, and a tiny little back bend if you wish. That's crescent moon. Keep the pelvic floor zipped up. Let's stretch down that hip. We're going to come to warrior two now. So curl the toes under behind you, lift your knee up. You're going to turn to face the long edge of your mat. Your right knee will be bent, toes facing the short edge, hips and shoulders, left toes facing the long edge, arms out at shoulder height. Settle and sink down. And then turning to look towards the right as and when you're ready. Keep your bottom tucked under. Keep those shoulders back. And feel the strength running through those legs as the toes grip the floor. Keep those shoulders drawn down, remember. Keep breathing. Corset of strength wrapping around your middle. From here, we're going to sun warrior. Left hand to left leg, reaching back. Soften the elbow, relax the hand. If reaching back is not suitable for you, of course, you can always reach up to the ceiling instead. Pelvic floor zipped up. Keep that right knee bent. Use your core muscles to bring you upright once again. We're going to straighten that right leg into triangle. Right fingers over right toes. Tilt. Take the hand to the shin. And the left finger's up to the sky, of course. Modification, you can take the hand behind you if you wish. Don't worry if you're up here, it's absolutely fine. Lean your weight on your thigh or your shin, the stronger ones. Back of the hands to the inside of the leg. So the core muscles have to tighten in and do all of the work to keep you at that diagonal. Okay, drop the arm, bend the right knee, push into the foot. We're going to do the same move, triangle, on the other side. So simply pivot through the feet. So the left foot is now pointing in the opposite direction. Hips, shoulders, right toes pointing the long edge of the mat. Arms out at shoulder height. Reach left fingers over left toes. Tilt. Take the hand again to the shin or the thigh if you prefer to be higher. Stronger ones back of the hand to the inside of the leg. If the neck is struggling, drop the arm. Please don't have your hand back here and only halfway up. If you can't go up to the sky, I recommend you drop it back because it's better for that shoulder. You put that shoulder in the correct position without the arm aggravating. But core muscles in. Imagine you're sandwiched in between two brick walls. So working our way backwards through that little routine, then we're going to go to sun warrior now. Drop that arm down, bend the left knee, push in and reach back. So the right hand goes to the right leg, elbow upwards and dangling, relaxed. Of course you can reach for the sky instead of reaching backwards. That left knee must be bent. Let's take it a little deeper, shall we? Core muscles in, supporting all of the time. Keep breathing. Next we've got warrior two. Use your core muscles to lift you upright, keep the knee bent into warrior two with those arms parallel. Eyes looking towards the left if you want to. Make sure that knee stays in place. Press on the outside of the foot. Squeeze your bottom and pin those shoulders back. So we're going to come down to the floor now and do the crescent moon with that left leg forward. So take care on the way down. Melt that right knee. Keep the left foot in front. You might need to wriggle it over a little bit to the left. But let the hips sink forwards. Make sure the knee is above the heel. Pelvic floor zipped up. Keep the hands on the floor if you wish. Alternatively, you can take the hands to the thigh. Lifting up to the sky, bending a slight bit backwards if you feel that is suitable for you. It's not suitable for everyone. I pop it in there for the more advanced, so don't do it if it aggravates your back. And release the arms down. Finally, we're going to take that left foot back. We're going to finish off with a downward facing dog. So curl the toes under, lift the knees up off the floor, spread the shoulders wide. Bottom up, heels down, core muscles in, and breathe. Okay, let's melt the knees down to the floor, then push your bottom back to your heels and have a little rest. Okay, so we're going to move on into some Pilates now. We're going to do what's called the basic lift. You can use your pillow if you want to, just to support the head. It's completely up to you. So laying on your back, knees must be bent at a right angle, very, very important, okay? And that places the foot on the floor correctly according to that right angle. Pelvis is in neutral, core muscles are switched on. Fingertips rest on your hip bones. This is the basic lift, just confirming that the brain and the core are indeed talking to each other, connecting and working properly. So, core muscles switched on, back in neutral. Breathe in, prepare. As you breathe out, take the first foot off the floor. Hover the knee above the hip and the foot should be level with that knee. Breathe in, melt the foot back to the floor. Breathe out, pick the other foot up and hover. Breathe in to go down. Notice how the movement happens from the hip. I'm not bending and straightening my knee to drop the foot to the floor. Everything's happening from the hip. And the legs are just walking back, one after the other. And as you do so, the back mustn't flatten and lift into the floor. It stays still. The tummy muscles stay connected. And the pelvis stays still. This is the hardest part. Do you find that the pelvis tips from one side to the other as you swap the feet over? Don't worry if it does, it's quite normal. What you need to do is try and centre that pelvis. Keep the feet very light on the floor. Tighten and bite those muscles underneath the belly button. You should find that you can keep the pelvis still. If you can't, please stay with this level until you can. For those that can, breathe out to float one leg, breathe in, prepare. If you need to, soften the back into the floor first and then float the second leg. You breathe in to melt the first leg and the second leg down, breathe out to float the second leg first this time. Breathe in, prepare, breathe out, flatten the back if necessary to float the other leg. What you don't want is to be a sudden jolt or reaction when the weight of the second foot comes into the air. It's got to be smooth. For some, you might need to press down into the floor with your lower back. For some, you can maintain your neutral. But what you mustn't do is jolt or allow your back to arch. With regards to the hands, if you've got that sussed, you can rest the back of the hands on the floor or cross the arms over the chest will make it a little bit more difficult for you. Another way to make it more difficult, whether you're still with the single leg version or the double leg version, if you lengthen the legs so they return to the mat much further forwards, that will be much harder for you. They come higher up in the air, much further forwards on your mat. It's much more challenging. Even with the single leg version, it still makes a difference. You've still got to keep the core biting down to keep that back in neutral. Okay, so choose the longer leg if you wish, and also slowing the legs right down. The slower you go, the harder you will work. Keep breathing, of course. Don't try and hold your breath at all. Do keep breathing. So choose the level that's right for you. Allows you to challenge yourself without losing your technique. Okay, so we're going to make this one the last one. melt down and stretch long. And we're going to swap that cushion for the ball. We're going to do a move called side lift off the ball. So the ball is going to go underneath the waist. This one is quite challenging, so take care if you haven't done it before. So the ball goes underneath the waist. You're going to lay on top of it. Bottom leg goes back, top leg goes in front. If you need to rejiggle the legs, that's fine. Just don't let your hips fall forwards, otherwise you'll be using your back. You could set yourself up for injury. So make sure your hip is pointing to the sky. The bottom arm is going to come out of the way and go to the top shoulder. Okay, so that arm is just tucked out of the way, it does nothing. The top arm, for your easier level, goes in front of the chest and helps to lift your shoulder off the floor. For the stronger ones, hand on the thigh. So tummy's in. As you exhale, recruit those core muscles and float the shoulder off the floor. Now feet must stay down. If you find your feet are lifting, that's no good. They've got to be stable and pressed into the floor. So you isolate the muscle just in the waist. If you're finding it's too much, use the top arm a little bit to help lift you up. Core muscles in, slowly lifting up and down, utilizing the waist. So if you're finding this level fine, try this level, fingers behind the ears, elbow pointing up to the ceiling. A bit harder still will be to straighten the arm, keep the arm in line and touching the ear, as opposed to lifting the arm at the same time, which is much easier. Try and keep that arm in line with the head, tummy muscles drawn in. Okay, make this one the last one. And release. We're going to go into tabletop now, which is going to help stretch out through the waist before we do the other side. So tabletop, this is going to be opening tabletop, so it's a bit of a stretch through the rib cage as well. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. You're going to take back arm out and up, so you open out through the chest and then take it down in between thigh and arm. Bend the arm, use your arm strength. Core muscles in, see how the back is still straight though. And out we go to the side again. And down. Reaching through, bending that elbow. So this is an arm strengthening exercise as well as stretching out through the waist. I have an add-on for the more experienced. Lengthen the opposite leg. You're still doing the same with the arm, opening out, reaching through. Can you find that balance? Use your core. This is for the advanced only, really. It's quite challenging. Reaching through, bending that elbow, keeping the back nice and straight. We'll make this one the last one. Okay, and release. Let's do the other side. I'm going to turn around for demonstration purposes. So, set yourself up again. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Core muscles in, keep that back straight. Opposite arm is going to float up and through. Bend the elbow, sink down. Back of my hand is not touching the floor, but if you feel the need to, then that's okay. So that's the lower level of the move. Keeping both knees on the floor, core muscles in, bend the elbow, use your upper body strength. And of course, if you want to do the harder level, you straighten the opposite leg and float those toes off the floor. Open out to the side, find your balance, breathe, use your core muscles. Try not to headbutt the floor. That's it. Opening out as far as you can go. And reaching through. We'll do one more of whichever level you have decided to do. And rest. Sit your bottom back to your heels. Grab that ball again. We need to do the other side lift. So, laying on the left hand side this time. I am anyway. We're going to go down, lay over that ball. Bottom leg straight, top leg straight in front. Do not allow the hips to drop forwards. Imaginary cup of coffee on there. Bottom arm Take that hand to the shoulder on the other side so it's out of the way. Easy version, fingers in front. Harder version, hand on the thigh. Core muscles in. As you exhale, engage those tummy muscles and float up. And breathe in and melt down. Same again. And down. Utilising those muscles in between the ribs and the hips only. Core muscles stay switched on, of course, and drawn in. Try and avoid allowing your tummy to blow outward for this one. It's actually quite easy if you think about it. Fingers to the ears will make it more difficult. I think I've run out of room this side. If you want to straighten the arm, you haven't got a wall in your way. Keep the elbow close, elbow and arm close to the ear. I think you can hear in my voice that really does make it quite challenging. Last one of whichever level you wish to do, and melt down off of that ball. We're going to go into the roll up now. This is where you're going to use your weights to pop the ball to the side, grab a hold of those weights. So I've put a couple of moves together. We're going to do the roll up, where you indeed roll back towards the floor. We're not going to the floor though, we're going to do some bicep curls. Notice how one arm goes after the other. We'll do 8 of those, and then 4 shoulder press. If you find that's too much for you, bring yourself forward, do a shortened version. So long as you're hollowing out the tummy muscles and working those arms, that's all that matters. And of course you don't have to use your weights if you don't want to. Just simply hanging back will use those core muscles a little bit more. So roll the shoulders back, knees can be bent and feet on the floor if you prefer. Breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, drop into your tailbone, tuck your bottom under and curl your way halfway back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep those abs in, and 1, 2. Keep those heels down. 3 and 4. Bring them in and curl. Use your core muscles, and if you want to, reach forwards. I'm going to do that 3 more times. Breathe in, breathe out and sink. 8 bicep curls. Keep breathing. Keep the tummy hold out. 3, 5, 6. Hollow the tummy. 8. And then shoulder press. 1. Oh, keep those heels down. Hollow out the tummy. 3 and 4. Bring them in. Use your core muscles. Come forwards. Last time. How are we doing? Core muscles in. Exhale. Sink. Tuck your bottom under. Hollow out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep breathing. Shoulder press up. 2. Hollow out. 3 and 4. Come forwards. Or use those core muscles to bring you forwards. Pop those weights down. A little stretch as you relax. Super. Okay, we're going to stay with the core stability. We're going to do the 100 now. And if you've got a ball, I'd like you to pop it between your knees for the lower level, or your feet for the higher level. Remember, if you need to, you can have both legs in the air and your back a little flatter than usual. This is your safety net to flatten the back a little bit more if you wish. 1 leg, 2 legs, ball goes between the knees and you pump your arms, turning them upwards for the count of 5 to 10, downwards for 1 to 5. Okay, of course you can lift your head and shoulders up. The more experience, you can have the straight legs, you can have the dropping legs. I'm going to show the original move. Just the 2 legs in the air, head and shoulders down. But if you want to do head and shoulders up, you're more than welcome to. So core muscles in, back in neutral or flat if your head and shoulders are lifted. Fingers reaching for the other side of the room. We're going to sniff 5 times, blow 5 times. Getting ready after 3, 2, 1. Sniff, 2, 4, 5, blow. 2, 3, 4, 5. Sniff, 2, 3, 4, 5, blow. 2, 4, 5. 30, 40, in, 2, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 50, keep the abs firm, out, 2, 3, 4, 60, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 70, keep the shoulders down, out, 2, 3, 4, 80, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 90, last set, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, hug the legs into the chest and take a rest. Super, well done. Okay, we're going to pop that ball to the side. We're going to lay on our fronts. We're going to do the dart. A little bit of back work for you then. So forehead to the floor, legs are straight, long and relaxed. Hands down by your thighs, palms facing up to the ceiling. Core muscles are zipped up. Just imagine the floor underneath your tummy was just a little too hot and you constantly had to pull away from the floor. You're going to try and keep the legs relaxed and feet on the floor throughout this move. Breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, reach the hands down the sides of the legs, square off the shoulders, tighten into the lower back so the chest floats. Remember, relaxed flat legs and feet. Breathe in, melt back down, relax the back of the hands too, but core muscles stay switched on. Breathe out, connect again, fire up those shoulder muscles, pull them down into the centre of your back, chest floats, chin stays down. Breathe in, melt down. Simply the dart, breathing out to lengthen through the neck and breathing in to melt down. Focusing all of the work around the waist and into that lower back. Try and avoid allowing the legs, the thighs and the feet to suddenly spring into action. Keep your belly button drawn in. Breathing out as you float. We'll do 2 more. And release. Coming up onto all fours, then we'll do a cat stretch. So hands under shoulders, tuck the bottom and chin under, lengthen through the spine, just to release that tension from that back extension. Next we're going to go into the hover, or the bear, some people call this. You're in a tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, curl the toes under, core muscles in, exhale, lift the knees off the floor. So try and keep that tabletop position with the knees floating. As you can see, they're only a couple of inches off the floor. Lengthen through the neck, core muscles in. You simply come down when you need to. Stay there for as long as you like, maybe count the seconds. For those who want to work a little harder, bring the hands closer together. You've got to keep those shoulders broad though, and hover, and then you tap your thighs. You try and keep that tabletop back perfectly still. Keep the neck long, keep the core muscles switched on. And breathe. And melt down, everyone. Push your bottom back to your heels again. Forehead to the floor this time. Take those hands behind your back. Lace the fingers. Draw them up and forwards. And breathe. Okay, and release. So we're winding down now. We're going to go into the chest opener. This is where you need your pillow. You're lying on one side with the bottom arm stretched out in front. Your head needs to be on the front edge of that pillow. Both legs are curled in, about 90 degrees at the hips and at the knees. Imagine a special cup of coffee, once again, is on top of the hip. The hips are not allowed to roll back, only the upper body is. So we'll take that top arm, we'll sweep it all the way back. Let the chest and shoulder drop back too, but remember, not the hip. Circling that arm all the way round, bring it back by the hip. And we'll circle around 2 more times. Core muscles in, you must keep the hips still, but the chest and shoulder must drop back. opening out all the way through. One more time in this direction, then we will change a little bit more challenging on the shoulder joint on the way back. So take care here as the arm goes back behind you. That can be a little more challenging. So if you do have shoulder problems, then take care. 2 more times. If anyone finds it's just too much throughout all the way through, you can bend the elbow with the arm half as long. You don't work quite so hard. Okay, so that's 3 in each direction. Simply going to go to the other side. You can roll over and turn your back to the screen if you wish. So head on the front edge of your pillow, bottom arm out in front, legs are curled in. Top arm's going to do all the work, circling back. Drop the shoulders, keep the hips in place, all the way round. Core muscles in. 2 more times in this direction. That's it. Allow the eyes to follow the hand. It will help you to let the chest drop back. So that's 3 in this direction. Let's go the other way. Take care with the shoulder, of course. It's a little bit harder this way. Remember to bend the elbow if you feel that's suitable for you. Core muscles in. We're stretching out through the waist, through the chest, and of course through that shoulder joint. One more time. Okay, let's sit ourselves up. We're going to go into a cross-legged stretch now. Now if you find it's difficult to sit without a back support, please do sit on a cushion instead. Alternatively, you can sit with your legs crossed if you can. If you can't, have your knees bent, feet on the floor. That's still fine, you can still pull across. Either way is fine. So right hand goes across to left knee, left hand goes behind. Breathe in to lift up tall and breathe out to twist. Pulling on the leg, gripping on the floor and looking over your shoulder. Now that left hand behind you, if you need it on the floor for some balance and security, leave it there. But if you don't, if you're able to sit up tall, allow that left arm to continue wrapping around your back so that it hooks onto the right hip. And gently release. We'll do exactly the same to the other side. So left arm across to right leg, right hand behind. Breathe in to lift up tall, breathe out to twist. Take a look. Again, if you need that hand for stability on the floor, then do leave it there. However, if you are stable without that arm support, wrap it further around your back so that it hooks onto the left hip. You get a nice strong shoulder and bicep stretch with that movement too. Okay, and release. Give those shoulders a wiggle. We're going to go into the quadricep stretch now. So take the elbow to the floor, top foot in hand, heel to your bottom, push the knee back and the hips forwards. Feel that stretch down the front of the thigh. Keep breathing. And then we're going to sit up and we're going to take that stretched leg out on a diagonal. If you're able to keep the other leg curled in, then do. It does give you a bit of a stretch out of the other hip, but I appreciate for some people that doesn't work for the knee, so you can send that leg out in front if you wish. Let's drop ourselves down over that straight leg. If you're able to, if it's suitable, you can flex the foot. Some might be able to hold on to the toes to pull them back. You simply want to stretch down the back of that straight leg. And as I said, those with the leg bent in, you might feel this stretch a little bit around the outer hip area on the opposite side. Coming back up, we're going to do butterfly knees. So bring both feet together, holding onto your ankles, and just walk your bottom closer to your heels, as close as you can manage. And then sit up nice and tall and bounce those knees. Butterfly knees. Just trying to open out through the groin area. Doesn't matter if your knees aren't quite low. Just feel that stretch through the groin and the hip flexor area. We're going to go to the other side then. So leaning on the opposite elbow. Take foot in hand, heel to your bottom. Push the knee back and the hips forwards. Always be conscious of the other side as well. Don't just collapse into that supporting shoulder. Draw the shoulder away. Strengthen that shoulder joint at the same time as releasing through that neck muscle. There we go. Okay, sitting up, we're going to take that leg out to the side. Same as the other side. If you're able to keep the leg in, do. If you don't want to, then straighten it out. Turning your attention to that straight leg then. Drop your body over, drop your chin to your chest. You can flex the foot, you can pull the toes back if you can reach. Essentially, we're after that stretch running down the back of the leg. Keep breathing. Each time you breathe out, mentally allow those muscles to lengthen. And release. Bring that leg back in or place the legs wherever you are comfy. We're just going to release through the neck. I'd like you to place the right hand down towards the floor. Tilt your head to the left, and the left hand can just add a little bit of pressure just to fully stretch between ear and shoulder on the right hand side. It's a sensitive area, so don't force that stretch too much. Gently release, and we'll do the other side. Left hand to the floor. Tilt the head to the right. Use your hand to give it a little bit of helping hand. And breathe. And release. Okay, wiggle those shoulders. Turn your head a few times just to loosen out. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my little session there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon.